Ashley Payne with Simply Living Realty Group, and today I am with Jeff Parks, the owner of Mudbugs. So, Jeff, when I have to be totally honest with you, when I heard that Mudbugs was coming to Buda and I saw kind of like what was being introduced, I was thinking it was going to be like crawfish boil, picnic tables, and when I walked in, I was like pleasantly surprised and shocked. So tell us a little bit about how Mudbugs came to be.
So it's completely ironical, the name and what we actually foster and the culture that we're creating here. Mudbugs has been a concept for several years. I moved to Austin specifically to open up a restaurant, and it took 10 years, finding the wrong people, finding the right people, the experiences I had with the different restaurants I've worked at, and I just got to the point where I just wanted to do it myself. Yeah. And I know I can do it. And I can do it because of one thing that I do very well, and that's put the best people around me. Yeah. So it's like we mentioned earlier, like I told you earlier, we're just little spokes. I'm just that spoke. I like to be toward the center of it all, of course, because it's the attitude behind it. But me, myself, I don't think I'm a great businessman. I am great at getting people together, these ideas, and implementing them, and I can see it through implementation. And then we can duplicate it just a little bit, 'cause I've got plans to go beyond just this one store. Mm-hmm. And so getting the right chef, the right general manager, and some people say never do business with friends or family, and I would say
I can agree.
That's completely wrong.
Yeah.
I trust my general manager, Carlos, implicitly. Mm-hmm. And I trust my chef, who before me had never done Cajun food. Huh. But he picks it up so very well and so very fast, and he's extremely consistent. Like most places, you have a soup or a sauce, and you'll make it in batch. Yeah. Well, my signature dish is a shrimp and grits. And let me tell you a little something about chefs. We're just a bunch of thieves. We're going to take somebody else's recipe and twist it just a little bit and bend it and make it our own. Yeah. So my shrimp and grits is not, completely novel, but there's a friend of mine back at the Fish House in Pensacola, great food, and their grits and yaya is amazing. That's what mine's fashioned after. And so I changed just a couple recipe or ingredients here and there, and it is made from scratch to order every single time, and it's consistent.
Your grits are like nothing else. They are like bomb.com. Actually, your grateful grits. If my trainer, your grateful shrimp. If my trainer is asking, that's my favorite dish. But otherwise, it's the big sexy pasta. Yep. So how on earth do you take all of these just miraculous dishes and narrow it down to just like what you have? It's like every dish hits different taste buds. So how do you narrow it down? Like, how often do you change your menu? How do you come up with everything?
Well, I appreciate that, because that's exactly how we crafted our menu. Sometimes you go into a restaurant and you go, man, that looks good. It's like, really, what is that doing here? It's a filler. Yeah. It's a stopgap. Yeah. And we don't have that. Mm-hmm. Everything is purposeful. The chicken dish is not just a chicken dish. I mean, we brine it X amount of hours. We have a beautiful crust on it. The meatloaf is the best meatloaf. It's mom calling good.
It is like, mom, meatloaf. Like, that is your meatloaf. It's like amazing. It's good.
It's the best. It's the best. The shrimp and grits, the best you'll ever eat. Some people can't have pork or don't like pork, and we have bacon in it. And since we build it from scratch to order every order, they can have it tweaked just a little bit, but it doesn't detract from the rest of the flavors.
I mean, you guys even make Brussels sprouts sexy. Like, they are good. So good.
They're so good. They're good. Like I said, I give my ideas to Alejandro, and I just really let him run wild. There's very few things on the menu he's not allowed to change. Yeah. And I don't say allowed to, but it's a respect thing too. Mm-hmm. But he has pretty much complete autonomy over it, and he is just genius with what he comes up with. He certainly is. I'm a great chef. I'm a really good chef. Alejandro is the executional chef. My biggest strength is knowing my limitations. Yeah. But we don't want to limit the palate of any guest here, so we have a little bit of something for everybody. Can't appease all the people all the time, but man, I'm gonna do my damnedest to make sure that it comes through every single bite.
Well, and you're not just creative with like your general menu, you're creative with your daily dozen. Like that, I'm pretty sure every time I come in here, I'm looking at them like, oh, I gotta try that. And it sells out within hours. And then your cocktail menus, like they are even over the top and totally take the edge off of a day, you know? Right. So when you come in here, it's a whole experience from beginning to end. And that's something that, lacks a lot here. And I'm glad that you brought that to the Buda area.
Well, I appreciate that. And you asked about the menu change, and the Daily Dozen and the menu change kind of go hand in hand. The Daily Dozen is, dare I say, a testing ground for future menu items to see how it's received by the general public. And that is kind of a catch-22 because he does such a good job with every single thing he does. So but we keep every recipe, so we know exactly what's going to go on the next menu. And we change our menus. We change our menus 3 times a year.
Okay.
We have January to April, which is coming to an end here soon. And then we have May to August, and then September to December. But we don't do an overhaul. Like the ceviche is coming off.
Oh.
And we're going to put sassy, spicy shrimp cocktail in there.
Ooh.
And instead of us telling you you're getting 4 with this order, we're going to let you can get 4, 6, or 8.
Oh.
And then we're pulling up the crab bake. Sorry, y'all, I know a lot of people like it, but y'all also cried when we took the crab cake off the menu. We're bringing it back.
Oh, nice. I love a good crab cake.
If we take something off, rest assured that we are going to replace it with something just as good, or it's going to blow it out of the water. The big sexy pasta is going to change. We're going to change it from linguine to penne, and we're going to do a caprese style topping.
Ooh, okay, I'm down.
We have the pork chop will change. The meatloaf will never change. The shrimp and grits will never change.
Yeah.
The grateful shrimp will never change.
Thank you.
we have the staples because that is the core of what our menu is.
Yeah.
Cocktails will change. Coping's not going anywhere. Bushwhacker's not going anywhere. We have our favorites that will stay. The bread pudding will change. And we're going from a chocolate bourbon pecan bread pudding. Sorry, y'all, I know you love it. But we're going to replace it with a campfire s'mores bread pudding.
Oh, I love me a good s'more.
So,
okay.
And the wine list is ever evolving. In fact, Carlos and I are finishing, he's putting the finishing touches on it in the next couple of days. We're sending the menus off to get proofed, and then we get the batch in and we roll it out.
Nice. Okay. Now you talked about your cocktails. Now I know you guys do like pairing events. Tell us a little bit about that.
We do. We have bourbon dinners. We've had a tequila dinner that was hugely successful, and they're a little bit up there in price, but we don't make a lot of money on those.
Yeah.
We honestly don't. The drinks that we had in our tequila dinner down here, the whole ticket was $3.25, and that included tax and tip.
That's not bad.
Upstairs, just those 4 cocktails, $3.75. So we didn't make as much money on it as we could if we sold. We want to bring together a collective of like-minded people that appreciate tequila and the pairings of it.
It's more about the experience.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. And then off that, we've spawned events, and then great regular clientele.
Yeah.
I mean, we're successful for 3 reasons and 3 reasons only: the food that we serve, the manner in which we serve it, and the people that receive it.
Yeah,
And
I'm here at least once a week.
This community has been so amazing. I mean, through COVID, my landlord is ridiculously cool. The Dahlstroms, I've never had a better landlord professionally or personally in my life.
Yeah.
They pointed us in directions. She's guided us along the way. Because this is a representation of them too, and we really have become a great little family down here.
Yeah.
Water to Wine, Los Olivos, Ellipsis, Assemblage. You got Nate's right behind us, Buda Bicycle Company, and then the Mercantile down there. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from a little bitty small town up in Indiana, and this is home. This feels so good.
Yeah, I think that's one thing to say that's come out of this whole pandemic is just to see the small businesses. Where I'm from, a lot of businesses don't want to compete with others. They don't want to get in the same sandbox. You guys have rallied together because like it affects your livelihoods, and so if you're not able to do something here, you send them elsewhere where they can get the experience they can.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if there's things that we can't do, we call it grandma's cookies. If we can't do cookies as good as grandma can, then we're going to figure out how we can do it. We're going to stop doing it, reverse engineer it, and do it ourselves, or we're going to send it to somebody that can.
Yeah.
We stopped. Well, I'm not competing with boiled crawfish until the weekend before Memorial Day. The supply is low, the prices are high, and it puts too much stress on the kitchen because we have a very tiny kitchen.
Yeah.
So I'll apologize one time for not doing crawfish through Memorial Day weekend versus 1,000 times for the quality.
Right.
If I can't hit it on the nail on the head every single time, I'll perfect it before I bring it back. So if you're looking for the best crawfish that I've had outside of New Orleans, Willie's Joint. Greg Pratt and Greg Henry. Greg Pratt does the boil. Greg Henry brings it all together. Those guys are a formidable duo. He and I we're all really good friends. And I'll head there later this week when they're born. I'll put 5 pounds down myself, 10 pounds.
Better you than me.
But it's just share. It's community. And that's what we're more than just a restaurant. I've said that from day one. We're community. We're community activists. We're community promoters. And if I can't, sure, everybody wants to be at the top of the hill. You want to be there by yourself. Let's elevate everybody. Yeah. Just like we're elevated, we're just not refined. Yeah. We're fine dining without the white tablecloth. We've got a little bit of attitude behind us. Yeah. And we want to foster that, because if you don't have the product to back it up, then you're just screaming at the rain. Right. We back it up. Exactly. My chef backs it up every single plate. And if we have a no questions asked policy. If there's something wrong with it, pull it off and you're going to get a brand new one.
Mm-hmm. And that is one thing I have to say, every time I've been here, that the experience, the food has been spot on every time. So
Thank you very much.
Definitely have the consistency that a lot of restaurants thrive to have. Speaking of your small kitchen, you have like a chef table that I saw. So does your chef come out to the table, or how does that work?
So the chef's table is a little bit more unique than that. What we do is we ask for a 2-week heads up. We do the driving completely. All we ask, are there any allergy food concerns or restrictions? And if they say no, we do the shopping, we pull the foods together, and it is a course dinner and it's paired. You're going to show up, there's a per person charge to it. It's a minimum 6 people, and you can go up to 14 or 16 people, because we have the mini chef's table, you can pull it together. Mm-hmm. You pull up, there's going to be bubbles on the table that greet you. There's the first course comes out. We do the driving. You don't know what you're eating, but we're pairing it with the food so we can bring what the wine was meant to be with that food. And we've done a pretty good job of it so far, I like to think. And with the dinners that we throw and the chef's tables that we've done, we haven't had any disappointed people yet.
So I have to say that's kind of amazing, because I don't know about you, but like I get the question, what do you want to eat? And it's overwhelming. So the fact that you guys kind of just take that over and you sit down, you get a whole experience, and you deliver on the flavors and the taste buds, that's amazing. Not having to think about another meal that I want to eat. So to take that out of people's hands, that's really cool experience to have, because you don't have that anywhere else here.
I appreciate that. We kind of put it right back in their hands on the everyday menu too, because you go into a restaurant, and I know I've asked for what's better, this or this. Yes. You can't really compare what we do, each entree to each other. The meatloaf is fantastic, and the shrimp and grits is fantastic. And one's not better than the other; it's just completely different. Yeah. So our menu is what we like to call throw a dart good. If you can't make up your mind, close your eyes, throw a dart, whatever it lands on, you are not going to be disappointed. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and it's hard, because like I have to say, every time I come to this restaurant, even though I love those 2 dishes, I try and actually open your palate to something else, because I'm sure you're gonna love it. Right. So rather than, there's a couple of restaurants where I know that is good, I'm just gonna stick to that. So it's nice that you guys have the plethora of options that are easily to satiate anybody. So tell me a little bit about this room. What is this room?
So this room, to my knowledge, was the grain collector. There's a grain mill right above us. This building was built in the late 1800s. Cotton gin grain mill, then nothing for a long minute, and then office space for a hot minute, then empty, then us. Okay. And I believe that's the timeline. There may be a little bit more activity than that. We call it the Storm Cellar. It's after my beloved Storm that passed away a couple years ago. Best lab in the planet. Aww. But we have we're still we're changing the identity of it down here just a little bit. We're going to bring it a little bit more Art Deco. I've talked with a friend of mine, and she's going to do a mural on this wall. So it'll have like the skyline of New Orleans at the bottom, and then how the sun will cast a shadow, and the shadow is the Buda Mill and Grain. So you have New Orleans and Buda.
How cool! Yeah, that's really neat.
That's an idea we're tossing around with, moving the wine wall back there, just dressing it up just a little bit, because it's kind of lost. It's still quaint and people love it, but I mean, we see it from a different eye. So my GM and I and Tammy and a couple other people, we're going to put our minds together, and not too long from now, you're going to walk down here and go, wow. Yeah. We just wanted a little refuge, a little getaway from upstairs, and it's very, very popular. We have music pipe down here. If you want to watch a game down here, we can do that. There's conferences that are held down here.
We have a really cool murder mystery room.
That'd be kind of cool. Put that on your thing.
Make sure I get the invite.
Right, for sure. And then, yeah, we have different artists that we like to display. I've got a couple pieces down here. A friend of mine, Matt Lankus, that does photography on Hollywood sets and does stars and things like that. There's a
I saw Matthew McConaughey in the bathroom.
That's right. But right now, like I said, it's serving its purpose. We want to put a little bit of lipstick on it. Give it a little bit more of an identity. With everything that's happened, we're just you jump from one hoop to the next.
Yeah.
And so we did what we did to survive, and now we're taking the stopgap out, and we're putting in purposeful things and purposeful policies, and really honing down to make it truly the best dining experience that you can have anywhere.
Yeah.
We believe we're the best restaurant around, and it's not factually so, but we have to keep that in our minds. That's what keeps us mentally sharp and keeps us on our game, and we don't worry about what anybody else does. We take the eye off the ball here, we drop the ball.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're just compared to other people, and I don't want to be compared to anybody else.
Yeah.
I want to do what I do. I want us to do what we do very well.
You raise that bar and you keep raising that bar.
Exactly. And it's really more so raising it for us. Because I think once you get satisfied, you get complacent. And when in restaurants, and every restaurateur and every restaurant server and every restaurant cook will tell you, the slow time is when the accidents happen. That's when the mistakes happen. The temperatures are wrong.
Yeah.
So we continually have. I push my managers. I push myself harder than I've ever pushed myself.
Yeah. And one thing I do love also about going back to you supporting local businesses, you just also support them when it comes to your products. Like, so I know you use a local bakery for your bread.
Absolutely.
I know you use, a local garden when it comes to your herbs. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Christian that owns New World Bakery came in here one day, and I'd never met him before, and he was sitting on the patio. And he goes, "Hey, do you mind me asking you where you get your bread?" And I said, "It's Liedenheimer's from New Orleans, but then you have to freeze it, ship it, so you have a good product." And he was like, "If I duplicate this, if I make this exact," I said, "if you make this exact, and you're right down the road, and I do a blind taste test, mine against yours, and I can't tell the difference, I'll do yours every day and twice on Sunday." And we do. He delivers. Not when he delivers steaming hot fresh bread.
Nice.
It's just like, when you walk into a bakery, you have that bread, it's like, oh.
The carbs.
Exactly. We use our Bloody Mary mix is my friend Joey Kindred and his lifelong friend Buddy. They distill their own grain alcohol, they make their own Bloody Mary mix, they infuse it on site, and I talked to him the other day. They're in Indiana and Florida. He was named the official Bloody Mary of the New Orleans Saints.
That's cool.
They have Bloody Buddy bars they built for him in the Superdome. I think they're still there. I'm hoping they're still there. Joey, I'm so proud of you, man. That's fantastic. He's a fellow entrepreneur, and he's just never satisfied. And that's what his satisfaction is, the time that he gets to spend with his family. And that's what I'm working for is time.
Yeah.
I want to go full throttle as fast as I can, so I can bring as many people as fast as we can, so we can do this for fun and not necessarily have to as a necessity.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit what is in the works for fun in the future for you.
Wow, that's I'm grinning big time because we've got some amazing things coming up. We've got a deck being built, which that's huge, but that's minuscule. It's unnecessary. We've got a walk-in that we're building inside. We're going to pull our coolers out and just do a build in there. So we need more space.
Yeah.
So we want the infrastructure before we put more butts in the seats. My broker and I are going to go look for a second location and a third location. I've got another friend of mine I'm working on another concept with. We have 6 sauces that we're going to go to market with. 3 of them are being developed right now. Smoked chipotle guava barbecue sauce, an orange champagne marmalade, and my signature sauce is the habanero honey.
So those will be perfect gifts.
They'll be great. We have 3 more coming too, and then I'm also doing, Joey inspired me, but I'm not doing an infused Bloody Mary mix. I want to do just a non-alcoholic version, and it's called the Muddy Mary.
Ooh.
So we have mud sauces, Muddy Mary. We're going to do mud pies in the future. We're getting all the intellectual property together. We own most of it so far, and my parent company, Mud & Company. And so we want to keep everything right here local. My co-packer is Jake Cathy down in Lockhart. He owns Hill Country Food Works, I believe. So he's developing my sauces. He's developing my Muddy Mary mix. He's going to be a business partner because I'm going to give him equity in it. Nice. Like I said, I'm not a greedy person.
Yeah.
I want to share. But I'll always have that 1% that makes me I've always wanted that. And I've
so
worked
you can
hard
retire.
For it. Exactly. Yeah. I want to put the best possible product in front of the guest, because the biggest compliment that I think that my food and my staff can ever get is when somebody bites into something or takes a sip of something that I had a hand in, that I created, and they go, "That's the best that I've ever had." Mm-hmm. I hate to be cliche, but drop the mic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun now, but man, that's really fun.
Yeah.
We're true community people. Buda Brightside, we're working with them. That's where we're getting our microgreens from. Nice. Yeah, Buda Brightside's an amazing nonprofit, and we have a golf tournament coming up to benefit them, and we have other tournaments coming up to benefit other people that are in such need.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will never ever turn away from somebody if I've got the means to help them. Mm-hmm. And
that big old heart of yours.
Well, I've crafted this saying, and it came from my grandfather, and I just took bits and pieces of what I learned from him. He passed away back in '77 when I was just 7 or 8 years old. But my mantra is, we are just this little bitty insignificant beings walking around this little grain of sand in this big ass universe. And if we can't take this one existence and make life better for the rest of us, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
So people lose their mind over a bad meal. Hey, I'll close that deal all day long. I'll fix you whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I've turned people that were cussing in my face outside because they misconstrued something that was said. Mm-hmm. Not by me, but something happened, and I walked into it and I resolved it, brought it back in. You're missing out. If you're not having my food, it's not just dinner. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to every single table. I know 85% of my guests by name.
Yeah.
And that list is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm very grateful and very thankful. And I wouldn't be here with the people that make my team complete. Mm-hmm. I've got my business partner, I've got my investors, my general manager, my chef, my marketing and events girl. She's awesome. She's from Louisiana.
Yes.
She came in at a time, and she was actually introduced by I don't know if she had ever met Jeff or not. Another from my Jeff Hayes. He's got artwork here, the lovely Anthony Bourdain, the one upstairs. And he plays jazz and rock and roll here. Uh-huh. And he was talking to her because he's never met a stranger either. Yeah. And they were just butterfly. And he was like, "Hey Jeff, aren't you looking for an event?" I'm like, "I am." And he goes, "This is Tammy. That's what she does. She's from Louisiana." I'm like, right there. It was instant click.
Yeah.
I mean, she has what I need to get my brand out there.
Yeah.
She knows the route. She's done it before.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I get people together, like I said, that have a like-mindedness, a like consciousness to do great things on a small scale that can just branch out from there.
Right. Yeah.
Sort of like Tito's. Just make a great vodka that you want to produce, and you can go down to your favorite bar and have a sip, and now he's the #1 selling spirit in the world.
I know. I travel internationally, and I see him everywhere.
There were friends of mine that travel a lot, and they came in here the other day, and they were in Dubai, and there was Tito's all behind the bar.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I had dinner with a gentleman the other night. He's just nicest guy. Told me how he got his start and just told stories. Uh-huh. And that's so invaluable to me.
Yeah.
He's like, tend to your backyard, and then make sure your backyard looks good, and go to your neighbor, then before you know it, #1 spirit on the planet.
Exactly. I think that's something I always try and strive to be, is just trying to maintain your humbleness, because you never know, like, when you need to lean on somebody else or they need you to lean on them, and that carpet could be ripped right out from underneath you. So keep as humble as possible. And
absolutely.
And that goes leaps and bounds. You mentioned music. Now, is there any music works happening, like bringing live music here?
Absolutely.
Somewhere?
Yeah, we're working on the deck. The weather's so great right now that we can open the double doors, and they play inside. I don't have power, and I'm not going to run cables, so somebody trips or anything like that.
Yeah.
But as soon as we get word from the city, we're going to build. We've got our materials list. We're ready to go. Mm-hmm. We're literally ready to go. As soon as we get that stamp, it starts.
Yeah.
And Then we'll have power run out there, so we'll have live music out there.
Ooh, some good jazz.
I've got jazz, blues, rock. Maybe a slight twang in there. Who knows? I've got a beautiful deck design coming, so we don't cut around the trees. As the trees will be completely accessible. We've got a food trailer that we're designing.
Ooh, I'm excited about that.
We're in talks with some music events going into neighborhoods. If the whole neighborhood doesn't want to come to Mudbugs, we'll take the whole Mudbugs to the whole neighborhood.
That is a cool idea, because during COVID, my neighborhood has had food trucks come in, and so if people can't go out there, or they're even getting to experience food that they might not been able to experience before, so getting more word out and experience and all of that.
We will be having music on a more regular basis, just working out the certain times that it doesn't impede on anybody else's business, and make sure that the decibel levels and all that stuff are right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be blaring loud to be a really good time.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, we're going in a pretty good direction. We had a meeting the other day, and I really can't talk about it. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
It's on the way down quiet time.
Secret.
It really is. But this is something that is going to really catapult Mudbugs. I believe it in my heart.
Yeah.
And we're getting people ask me. You asked me about last year. People ask me, man, I'm so sorry you opened up the same day the world shut down. I was like, man, don't be. I always wanted to open up a restaurant at the beginning of a global pandemic. Check it off. I never have to do it again.
Bucket list.
But what we did is, we opened up on the 16th, shut down on the 20th, reopened on the 22nd, and we went to go food only through the first week or so of June.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks or 2 months, basically, we were only doing about a tenth of our menu. We threw away tens of thousands of dollars worth of food, or we donated to the fire station, the police department. We rotate giving them lunches once a month. It's our thank you back to the community.
See, you and I are the same on that.
you have to do that.
Yes.
They're solid. They're solid people.
They are.
They're solid people. But we didn't come anywhere near our forecasted numbers. Still broke $1 million. We just had our second best consecutive weekend. March was our best month by times 10 over last March, which is not really saying much.
Right.
More than 10 times. And we're on pace to come real close to pre-COVID projection numbers. We're really, really close. The staff is executing on all cylinders. Sometimes you have a hiccup, you really just got to roll with it.
Yeah.
And that's what we've become really good at. It's really good at pivoting like that, just like we pivot our daily dozens every single day. Forrest Gump doesn't know how right he was when he said life's like a box of chocolates, because you open up one and all of a sudden you're shut down, or you think you're going to be shut down. We went to to-goes. We opened up. We bulked up, pulled back, bulked up, pulled back again. But we had our staff, they furloughed themselves. The ones that stayed, they're still with us.
Yeah.
And they have been amazing.
Yeah.
You're only as good as your weakest person, and we just don't have them. We really don't. They're purposely picked. Serendipity, right? She walked into my restaurant right in the thick of needing an events because people are asking for it.
Yeah.
And as much as I'd like to think I can do it all, I know I can't.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to be strategic.
Yeah.
And so I'm super thankful. I tell her all the time, she's an amazing individual, extremely professional in everything she does, and she gets the results that are proven.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to see what she does. I'm taking her with me with my sauces. She's helped create my logos with the Muddy Mary mix. She's literally a business partner in those. She has equity in those. I'm taking Mona, my business partner, my CFO, my confidant, her and her husband. They're my big business partners. And my other ones are no smaller either. But she's hands on every day. She's the numbers behind. She's the genius. She's the why we have our operating capital intact, why we haven't touched it, why we're going to show a loss over last year, but we're making a net profit. We'll make money this year. So those are the people that I don't do anything without. I take them. Carlos is my GM for a minute, then he's going to be my director of operations. Alejandro is my executive chef. He'll be my overall culinary director. They left jobs, they took pay cuts to come work for me. That's dedication, that's passion. You reward that with skin in the game. Not because it makes them more vested, it makes them feel more valued. Right. And a more valued person wants to be there. And I want people that want to be here. And they were with me before the equity was even brought into it. That's just a cherry on top. Now I want to put more whipped cream and cherry and nuts and sprinkles all over that. And we're getting ready to do that because Alejandro's going to have equity in the food trailer as well. We're just going to blow it up.
Yeah.
We want to do it the right way. I've seen restaurants, not here in Austin, the restaurants I've worked at in Austin, Gumbo's, Vespaio, the Grove in Westlake. Learned a lot more about wine working at the Grove and under Matt and those people, how they ran that operation. The League out in Belterra Village, it's where I went and I met my investors. I'm forever thankful. Mm-hmm. Tony Sciolo, Creed Ford, amazing restaurateurs. They have 4 concepts now.
Okay.
So, I'm not doing 4 concepts. I'm doing this one. I'm doing one more with my buddy because I can do a few things very well.
Well, I have to say, it's been such a pleasure to sit down and talk with you, and you have created such a great, not even restaurant, it's literally a community where you support and give back, and it's just hands down an amazing thing you're doing here. So
I appreciate that.
So excited to see what you've got in the works and have it unfold before our eyes, and so congratulations.
I'm telling you, real soon, it's really exciting. Thank you very much.
Of course. Bye.